Hi guys, welcome.
Hello.
Welcome back.
Hello.
We are here with Frank Lima and Michelle Thompkins Lima. We are here to
And
support you.
BB Lima.
And BB, yeah, sorry, how could I forget BB? Um, Star of the show, really. So you guys are heading into the final 4 hours of the competition, probably getting ready to finish up based on most of the check-ins that we're seeing. Everyone's still alive and surviving, making it by, getting ready to wrap things up. Um, Tell me, who are you?
So, my name's Frank. I am a technical director for DreamWorks Animation Television. I do all the special effects pipeline stuff for shows like Jurassic Park, Camp Cretaceous, and sorry, not Need for Speed.
What's that?
Sorry, guys. But other
Fast and
shows,
Furious?
Fast and Furious, and other shows like that. And on the side, I help NASA out with some mission work. And Michelle.
Hello. I'm Michelle. I'm a storyboard artist for DreamWorks TV. I'm currently on Trollstopia, coming out soon. I think this fall. We don't have a date yet, but yeah, it's coming soon.
It looks really good.
It looks so cute. We're
I'm
super
excited.
proud of it.
Yeah.
That'll be fun. Great. So thank you guys for being here and telling tales from the other side. They are also both 24 Hours alumni, I might add. Michelle's team.
Survivors.
Survivors who have become better for the experience. So before Frank gets into his technical presentation, is there anything that you guys would like to tell the folks here, rounding into the home stretch?
Dude, I mean, just be proud of yourselves. You survived a lot in the last 24 hours. I'm sure you've learned a lot in the last 24 hours. And I just hope after some well-deserved sleep
Yeah.
that you'll remember this time as like I do. And so does Frank. It was
great memories.
Great memories.
It's the gauntlet, like going through all of it, but at the end it's the memories you cherish and the things you learn from the event.
Right. Yeah. So just we're proud of you.
Yes.
Like give yourselves like a pat on the back.
You're
like,
almost there.
Man, I could only do 3 of these. Like I was at school for a while. Like I said no after a while. But I couldn't do it anymore.
All the Red
So
Bulls.
I respect you guys. Like
Yes.
great job. Keep
Awesome.
going. You're almost there.
Yeah.
Yay. Phoebe says yay too.
Woo!
Yeah.
She lets me torture her.
So,
Oh babies.
you guys are mostly here at the end, starting to wrap up and export now, and I got a few tips for everybody to use. So I have a little presentation here to show you all the do's and don'ts, exporting types, the speeds of exporting, and what best to export with to YouTube, so you can be as seamless as possible during the end of your pipeline and just export and just be done with it and just have it out there. So one of the first things I want to talk about is frame exporting. So when you are rendering your scenes, it's always best to export as frames instead of, say, QuickTimes or AVI or anything like that. And the reason for that is if you export as frames, in case it for any reason your program decides to crash, your QuickTime is not completely destroyed, and you can always pick up from the last frame you left on. And so here's a few different render exports and the times it took to render these frame sequences. And so my recommendation is the very bottom. Always export as a PNG 16-bit, and preferably with an alpha. If you can enable an alpha layer, that means your backgrounds are going to be transparent. The PNG export is the quickest out of all of them. The TIFF, the PSD, don't ever export as PSD, please. It's big, it's huge, it's super huge. It's got all the layers. You don't want to do that. PNG with an alpha, it takes about 6 seconds compared to these other renders, which took 5 seconds, 51 seconds, 28 seconds, so on and so forth. So always if you want to, if you're time crunched, export PNG with an alpha. So the next stage is, taking it in and editing it. When you're editing it, what I would say is the best encoder to use to export to YouTube is the container MP4 with the H.264 video codec. So techno mumbo jumbo. So export your videos as H.264 because a lot of computers nowadays have a lot of video acceleration to render out H.264 video very quickly. And yeah, your CPU, your GPU will render H.264 videos very fast at the end of your exporting. And in this frame or this slide, there's a few options here you can enable with your H.264 encoding to make it look extra good. But yeah, one thing to keep in mind though, I know this is really arcane from the 2000 era, but if you are exporting, be sure to export as a progressive video and never ever interlaced. As you can see, there's two different clips side by side. Progressive has the entire frame, whereas interlace has two individual frames interleaved together, and that's old-fashioned. That was in the days of the big old TV sets and analog.
The big tube TVs.
Yeah, the big tube TVs, gross. And that's just gone. So
vintage.
If you see that option, make sure you don't ever export as interlaced, because here's what it looks like up close. It just looks ugly. Don't do it.
Unless that's the aesthetic they're going for.
No, you don't want to ever do that.
Retro, maybe. No, okay.
Yeah. So here in this slide are some options to export to YouTube. If you're doing a 720 video, a 720p video, or a 1080p video, make sure to make the best target megabits per second or anywhere between 5 and 8. So as you're fiddling with the exporting options, you can do 5 megabits per second, 8 megabits per second, and that'll render your video quicker. And so that'll render it, and also not only render it quicker, but upload to YouTube and render on YouTube quicker. So if, say, you decide to do a ProRes video at 4K and with crazy settings, it's going to take a while for YouTube to render it out and make it live. So you don't want to do that. You want to keep it simple, and yeah. But also, word of warning: don't make your videos too compressed. So let's target megabits per second. If you go 1 megabit per second or something, you're going to get compression. As you can see in this slide right here on the left is 10 megabits per second. And on the right is less than 1 megabit per second. And you can see that on the right, it's really blocky and compressed and really ugly looking. You don't want to do that to your videos. You worked so hard on these. Make sure they look nice. So yeah, there's a few options here. So I mean, if you guys have any questions, and just let us know in the YouTube chat, and we'll be happy to answer them.
He'll be happy. I don't know anything.
Yeah,
I was
Frank,
always
I don't
really
know where
looking
you
for someone
were
else
when
on my team.
Yeah, always make sure to designate who's going to be the editor, who's going to do the exporting and rendering and things like that. It's always good to have that one contact, one person. So yeah, those are the tips, the do's and don'ts of exporting and rendering and things like that, all the crazy numbers and compression stuff.
I'm gonna come back and reference this next time I'm exporting something, because I consistently take hours to render and I'm obviously doing something wrong. So that is awesome. Thank you so much for explaining all of that. Awesome resource.